Hey, good morning, folks. Good to see you. Good to see a few of you online. Morning, Deb. Morning, Facebook user, whoever you are. You might be behind the veil. Hey, great to see you here this morning, folks. Alison, thanks for joining us for another Wealth Coffee Chat. I was on the road for the last couple of days. Tried to do live out of Sydney, and the recording sounded like I was on the helium. Anyway, there you go. Hope you're all awesome and well, wherever you are. I'll do the quick intros as we get things going this morning. Jason Witten, my name. If you didn't already know, each day we do a little bit of a Wealth Coffee Chat. Been property investing for a few years, coaching property investors, maybe just like you. And if you're new or you're popping by, say a quick hello in the chat. Love to hear from you. Maybe find out where you are right now in this wonderful day, a thankful Thursday. Give us a shout. Let us know what you're up to. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. Something to do with the internet and stuff like that. So it was a bit weird. But anyway, there you go. Live, trying to do live activities online is always a bit hit and miss. I'm back in my studio, back in my home studio. So hopefully it's a little bit more controllable, the environment today. So there you go. There you go. Well, folks, at the moment, there's, a bit of talk about making sure we get our rents up and keep an eye on our cash flow. Good morning to you, Alex. Good to see you, mate. And I thought we might talk about something in that vein today, that theme. A lot of conversations around the idea of how do we get our rents up? What do we do? And, some of the tips and some of the ideas. And is it worth it? Let's talk about that today. I thought that would be well worth doing. I've got three things that, let me see if I can get this going. Here we go. Three ideas today. It's a bit wide, isn't it? Let me see if this works. Three conversations we might do today when it comes to our rents and how we get them up a little bit. The easy, low-hanging fruit right now, team. Let's see if that works. There we go. The easy, low-hanging fruit right now is, I'm going to delete this 2 seconds, is the idea of putting our rents up, right? So while I'm just getting my little tech sorted, I spoke too soon, didn't I? I said, I think hopefully this will be easier today because I'm in a more controlled environment, but that doesn't seem to be the case. But let me know in the chat. Hey, morning, Jeff. Let me know in the chat right now, how are you going Have you heard or have you just increased your rent lately? In the turnover of when your rent has been being reviewed. What's going on for you? One of my properties here on in sunny Gold Coast, I've been able to put, well, I'm about to put the rent up $100 in my world, and that's an easy income increase. Just if the rent gap between what you're renting it for and what the market will pay is there, let's do it. But tell me in the chat while I just try and sort out my little tech issues here for 30 seconds. Do you or have you increased your rent or seen rental increases of recent times happening in and around the bits and pieces going on? Let me know in the chat as we go. Anyone got anything for me today? Not having a good time with my tech here, am I? There you go. Rose is about to increase her rent by a fair bit, which is good. Nothing wrong with that at all, Rose. Anyone else? Let me see here. Nah, having a problem. Anyway, there you go. Let's dive into another thing because I can't get work this morning for some weird reason. Anyway, here we go. Well, there's 3 ideas that I was going to talk about this morning. So I'll just have to talk about them instead of draw on my iPad, which is, the first idea, the first conversation is, we can put our rents up when it comes to, what the market's paying. What's the easy way? What's a simple way right now? And let's talk budget. Let's talk money. And so the idea of adding some value to our real estate to increase the rent, adding some value to our real estate to increase the rent, or renting it out in a certain way. Give us a bit of a shout out in the chat, folks. Tell me 3 simple ways, and I'm going to give us a budget constraint under $30,000, under 30 grand. How could we increase our rental income in our properties? Maybe they're existing, maybe there's the one you're looking to purchase. Tell me right now, what would you do in the chat? Let me know. There's 3 simple ways right now that I think are worth having a look at, and how we could increase our property's rent considering the marketplace right now. Let me know in the chat if you know or you think you know 1 or 2 ways that we might be able to do that. First, easy, simple way. Good morning, whoever is online. A few of the Facebook users probably behind the veil. Allison's got all 3 in one quick go. Let's talk about that. A simple, straightforward renovation. Now, a light renovation might be things like, folks, paint, some carpet, freshen up, maybe some new tapware, maybe some, replace the cooktop, something simple, maybe $5,000 to $8,000 worth of renovations right now. How do you quantify that? How do you quantify this when it comes to the how much you should spend? Well, you should ask your agent. Your property management agent would give you some excellent feedback. And you say to the agent, okay, if I was to do something to my property, how much would I be able to increase the rent by? Because we all know anywhere between sort of 8 and 10 years of, use of a property, you need to do light refreshment or light renovations of your property, especially, high use pieces of equipment, carpet, blinds, paint, light fittings, tap fittings, those sorts of things. Say to the agent, how much would it take for me to increase my rent? Now, if they said $5,000 or $8,000, let's say they said $5,000, $5,000, and you've got a little bit of money in your redraw offset, in your buffer, because you should be putting all of your after-tax cash flow and building up a buffer in there. You guys know this. What would you do? So, for $5,000, what would be a minimum rental increase? Chuck it in the chat for me. What would be a minimum rental increase for you? Return, cash on cash return. If you spent $5,000, what would be your minimum rental increase that you would want to get from your investment? Tell me that in the chat, folks, because if you think about it, if we say, all right, return on cash, return on capital, and you get depreciation as well when you spend and invest money to maintain or improve the property, you can get some higher depreciation. But tell me what you think that might be, because here's what I can tell you: when you work out the calculation, if you go, all right, I'm gonna choose $50, so I'm gonna just choose that for you. $50 times 52 equals $2,600 for the year. Now, it usually looks better when I draw on it or write it down, but can't do that today, unfortunately. Something's going on. So $2,600 for the year income if we invest $5,000. So who'd be up for, tell me in the chat, who'd be up for a return of $2,600? Oh, we might be unlucky here, folks. Just stand by. $2,600. $2,600, and you get, if you invest $5,000. All right, I'm back on track here. Anyway, a little bit distracted, but let me stick with me, because here we go. All right, it's gone. It's white, but there you go. So the idea, if we add a renovation and you spend $5,000, let's do the return on this, and you increase your rent $50, not 50K, but $50. $50. That would equal $2,600 for the year. Tell me, what's that as a return? A return on cash invested in your renovation team. What percentage? Put that in the chat. What percentage does that look like? You invested $5,000. You got returned. First year return, by the way. First year, true cash return on the money invested. What does that look like? What's the return on cash? And let's just say that was 2,500. That is pretty good. That's a 50%. 50%, team. 50% increase. 50% increase or cash on cash return on the money invested. Anyone do a little yes, a little Y in the chat for me to say, would you like a 50% return on money invested? Tell me, anyone interested in a 50% cash on cash return on money invested in their real estate? I don't know about you, but I'm into that. Yep. Gemma's like, yeah, I'll have a crack. Why not? So when we look at these things, we might go, oh, $5,000, and we might say, oh, it's only $50 increase. I don't know if that's going to save me. But when you think about the percentage return on your investment, and yeah, exactly, Alison, you also get some deductions on top of that, which can help pretty significantly. So I like the idea of a small reno, and I've got some rules in reno land when it comes to this stuff. Nothing that your rental agent couldn't do on your behalf, okay, or wouldn't do on your behalf. Now, to be honest, you don't ask them to renovate, organize to renovate the whole kitchen or renovate the whole bathroom or add an extra room. That stuff's more than what we're talking here, right? So a bit overkill, all right? What's the second one? A second one, Alison said it before, furniture. Now, furniture pack, all right? And if you think about these sort of three combos, this stuff could be quite useful for you. All right, furniture pack right now. Furniture pack, anywhere from sort of 10K up to 30K, okay? And depending on what you're doing, furniture pack allows you to rent your property fully furnished. Now, I do know up in Brisbane, this is just an example right now, a property renting for $600 a week with a furniture pack in it will now rent for $700 a week. Okay, $700 a week. So we're talking $100 a week increase. So let's do the math. 5,200. All right. So if you're spending, depending on what you're investing that in, you know, an extra $100 for a furniture package in the right location, in the right spot, in the right real estate. Again, if you have the dollars and cents, that's a great return on cash, cash on cash return. Now, when you invest like at the fancy end of town, with the 30K, that can lead to something that could be short-term letting. Now, very simply, many agents will do this sort of stuff or have these things on their radar. Yep, I can do a light renovation for you. I've got trades that I could get that organized for you, and agents would do that. Furniture pack, yes, you might have to choose it. They would help you get the furniture installed into the property, and they would rent it furnished. And it usually works in areas that are, a bit more high transient, people who might be coming for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be, renting, in education areas, medical areas, high corporate job areas where there's a lot of traveling involved for that sort of stuff. Now, which is fantastic. Now, the return on cash return, again, return on cash is pretty good. You could be anywhere from, again, sort of, 20% to 50% cash on cash return, which I think is pretty handy, right? Pretty handy. Now, you got to think, if I'm using my money smartly, if it's sitting in the offset account, I might be saving myself 5 or 6%. But if I invested some of that cash or capital or equity, and I got, got a renovation done, I got a furniture pack, what might that look like? Now, imagine you did the reno plus the furniture pack. That could work as well. You could double down on the income that you're using. And last but not least, sort of under the sub 30 idea, the 30K, under 30K. Way to increase the income on your properties, if possible, is the last part, which is the short-term letting. Short-term letting. All right, short-term letting. Now, for many of us, we need to understand what this short-term letting might mean, and is it worth it? What is it worth doing? Short-term letting, because it can be, depending on the property, depending on the area, depending on whatever it might be, is it worth short-term letting when it comes to your properties? So, considering I ran out of a bit of time today, and I spoke too soon and had a tech issue, which I don't know what happened, but what I might do, let me know in the chat, yes, if you guys would like me to do, is it worth it? And we'll do a full Airbnb case study analysis tomorrow on short-term letting. What type of property, where, and how much? And we've got some good success stories from one or two of our coaches and clients that I might go through. Let me know. Give me a bit of a yes in the chat if you think tomorrow I'll do section 2 of this, which is go through with the cash flow calculator and work it out and show you, if it would be worth it. Because what we do know is when you buy some furniture, then, there's also some accelerated cash flow conversations as well, as we go along. So I've got a few yeses in the chat there. And all right, that's good news. Well, join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee chat. We'll go back here. I spoke too soon, didn't I? I said, I'll be back at home. Hopefully there'll be no tech issues. And there was. But anyway, so team, join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee chat. We will go a bit deeper into this conversation, this idea of increasing our rental income. And is it worth it? What's the risk? What's the upside for the Airbnb short-term letting situation? So we're going to do that tomorrow. Away we go. Happy days. All right, team. Well, that's it. Wealth Coffee chat done and dusted. You guys have an awesome day. Join me tomorrow for another one. We do this each day, nearly every day, work day, 8, 10 a.m. for another Wealth Coffee Chat. As always, if there's anything on your mind, let me know. Always happy to, have a yarn, have a chat about it. That's what the morning's all about, keeping an eye on things and making sure we're all across it and staying on track as property investors. Anyway, there you go. Good to see you, team. Thanks for joining me. I think we're done. I'll say adios, goodbye, adieu, whatever it is. See ya. See you tomorrow. Come join me. Bye-bye.